shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yes, hello there. Good morning to you, good morning to you, good morning to you, and welcome to Join Up Dots. Thank you so much for being here. I'm back. Yes, I am back. I am live on the microphone for the first time for about 4 or 5 weeks. And I know what you're saying, but David, you haven't been away. You have not been away. I'm sure I've been hearing you in my ears 3 times a week for the last... Yes, you have. Yes, you have. They were all pre-records. But for over the last 4 or 5 weeks, no, it was about 4 weeks, I've been ill. I have been ill beyond ill. I've been the illest person on the planet. Probably not, but I've still been really ill. Now, for people that will have been listening to Join Up Dots for the last 5 or 6 years, about 3 years ago, I discovered I had an issue called gout, which is like a kind of rheumatoid arthritis that affects the joints. Basically, my kidneys don't operate the way they should do. And so all your wee-wee needs to flow out of you and go into the toilet, you flush away, and everybody's, happy. That's how things should occur. But when you've got gout, your kidneys don't work to their full capacity. And so the urine that should be flooding throughout your body starts to fossilize and crystallize within your joints, and you don't notice it's happening, and then suddenly you might eat something that triggers it, and suddenly it all becomes inflamed and it becomes painful. Oh my God. OMG, as the kids say. And it is the worst pain I can possibly imagine. I'll tell you how bad it is. I actually spoke to a woman who's had 3 children and she's had gout, and she said she'd rather have children. She'd rather keep on banging out the kids because the pain's not as bad. See, that tells you. That tells you when you spend your life with women going, oh, you don't understand as a man. You don't understand the pain that we go through. Yeah, I do, because I've just been through it. And it's not just 5 hours, love. It was 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So I'll raise your labour and bang it back tenfold at you. So anyhow, I have been incapable of basically finding the enthusiasm to get a voice together to record. So all the podcast episodes have been back episodes. But what I have been doing is learning about myself and finding the strength and the mental fortitude to be able to tackle bigger and bolder projects moving forward. So I've jotted a few things down that I thought would be interesting for a podcast episode. And I'll also tell you this because I will tell you now. I can't hold it to myself, but I actually thought that I'd gone to a brothel recently. Because about 5 years ago, I had the gout, and I went to the GP, and I had all these tablets, and they couldn't find the right combination to help me out, and it went on and on and on. I spent hundreds on tablets, and so this time I thought, right, okay, I won't do that. I'll go to something more natural. So I went to a Chinese acupuncturist, and I thought to myself, I really want somebody that's really Chinese. I don't want somebody who has worked in Hackney and got raised in Essex. Like I want somebody from China. I preferably want somebody that doesn't really speak English, that has got one of those white beards, and they sit on top of a mountain. I was looking for basically Kill Bill. That's what I wanted. I wanted this cleansing of my spirit and my everything. That's what I wanted. And I was willing to pay for it. So anyhow, I found this lady, and I thought, okay, she won't have the beard, but maybe she'll have everything else. And I found her office, and it was just a white door and nothing else, with a little plaque by the right-hand side with Chinese writing on it. And my wife took me, and I had a walking stick, and I was hopping, and she was sort of literally carrying me in. And when I went in, this very mystical lady wearing a mask because of COVID, so you couldn't see her face, it was just her eyes. She went, "Oh, you are in terrible pain. You are in so much pain. pain. Now, if anybody says that's racist, it's not racist. That is how she spoke. And that's a very good impression. And so I said, I'm in terrible pain. And I was in so much pain, I couldn't really function. It was just like, oh, please just help me. Don't talk to me, just help me. So my wife said, look, I'll leave you here and I've got some things to do and I'll come back for you. And I said, yeah, all right, then. And so the door closed, my wife walked away, and the lady looked at me right in the eye and she said, you're in pain, you tense. We need sort out tense. And I went, yeah, I am tense because I haven't slept for about 5 days and, I'm in so much pain and I'm tense. Do something about it. So she said, climb on bed, I make you come. And I thought, hang on, this doesn't sound like you wouldn't get this on the National Health Service. And I thought, I've come to the wrong place. I've come to a brothel. And then it twigged that she wanted to make me calm, which is far more connected to being tense. But I suppose the other one would have worked as well, really. It's lucky I didn't jump on the bed and go, sort me out, and just whack me trousers down. But yeah, so that's what she said. I make you calm. And she did, and she was lovely. And I've been to her 5 times now, and I'm back up and running. Well, not up and running. I'm back up and hobbling. I can get around now, but it's still a bit touchy getting shoes on and stuff. I've been that man with socks and sandals for about the last 6 weeks. That's not a good look. But hey, let me off, people. So anyhow, as I was sort of sitting on the sofa, I thought to myself, there's always something to gain from these experiences. It can't just be, this is crap, and why is it happening to me? And I thought to myself, look, the very first thing that I could learn from this, and I jotted this down, is life will always be worse for someone else. Somebody else out there is having a worse time than you, whatever you're doing at the moment. Because there's certain people out there that would love to have another day on Earth experiencing gout, even though it's the worst pain they'd have. It's like using your scrotum as a space hopper on hot coals. That's how painful it is. And ladies, if you haven't got a scrotum, then I'm sure you can borrow one, and see the results of those actions on the person's face. But somebody out there would have gone to bed and never woken up. They would have gone out for the last time, closed their door, never come back again. And that gave me a lot of comfort to think, yeah, okay, it's not that bad. I'm still alive, and it just means that I've got to get through this phase. And as I was thinking that, I then thought to myself, okay, right, let's really go for this. Can I find the lesson in the experience and gain from this? And so one of the things I started to do, even though it was so painful, was I was getting my walking sticks and trying to walk around my living room. Now, we're only talking, 4 or 5 steps, but every single step was dreadful. And the first day I literally screamed and cried to do 1 step, and then the second day I could only do 1 step, and then the third day I managed to do 2 steps, and I just kept on building it up until I could walk a circle of my living room before collapsing again. And it helped me develop the strength. But I realised that actually I was mentally beating it. Yeah, okay, it was still really painful. It was still a physical disability that I had. But I had the mental strength to go, you're not going to control me. I'm going to control you. And you see that, don't you, when people have, lost their arms and legs and they're still climbing up Kilimanjaro, they're bouncing up there, and you think, God, how do they do that? And it all comes down to the fact that they've decided to do it. They've made that decision that their situation is not going to change their lives. They are going to change their lives. They have got the belief. They've got the mental strength. And there's a lot of people out there. My mum, she's had a stroke. She spends all the time saying, I can't do it. So she's never going to be able to do it. But then there's other people that are going, right, okay, this is difficult, but I'm going to do it. And so I learned a lot about myself, that no matter what's thrown at me, I can choose the mental switch to go, I'm going to tackle this head on and develop strengths. And that's really what life is all about, isn't it? It's that ability to look at your comfort zone, that position that we put ourselves in, and think to ourselves, I need to break this down. I need to become more than I am. I need to, just like when you're working out in a gym and you get bigger muscles by tearing your muscles, and then the muscles regrow and they get bigger, and then you tear them again and they get bigger and bigger. I think we have to do that with life. And I think the majority of don't have that terrible situation that knocks us over, that really makes us assess what we want to do with life. You know, at the beginning, I was quite happy to spend my time with the laptop Googling holidays in Switzerland. Easier than I'm Googling euthanasia. I don't know how to spell euthanasia, but on the first sort of day, because I knew that I was going to go into this pain for weeks and weeks, and I was quite happy to go, just get rid of it. I can't do this. But of course, I'm here now, and I've moved through it, and I am recording another podcast episode, so you can learn more about your strength and your capabilities than you ever can when times are good. When times are just plain sailing, when things are coming your way. Believe me, if you're out there and you're building a business or you're trying to get success and everything's going great, brilliant, I'm pleased for you. But you wait until it doesn't, because it will happen. That it spins and the seasons change. And it's then that you really learn the strengths. That's the lessons. That's when you tear your muscle, when you start growing again, to be able to move on to bigger and bolder and sexier adventures. Not the times when things are just good. And I speak to a load of people, and loads of sort of colleagues and stuff that say to me, oh yeah, I'd like to start a business, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. But number one, they're not willing to do it. Or number two, if they do it, they get that quick burst of motivation and momentum and think they're geniuses. But it's when you go through the dip, that is when you really find the strength that you've got. And that is when you realize that you are the person that builds your life. You control your time, you control your energies, and you can bring success to you. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the 4 or 5 weeks of truly terrible pain. And during the night it was worse because you're on your own and everybody else is asleep, and it's just, I don't know why it's worse on your own. Maybe it's because there's nothing else to take your mind off it. But even through those dark times when I literally couldn't move, and if I did move it was screaming pain, I still knew that actually I was gaining from the experience, and it was up to me to take what I was learning and move on to bigger and better things. And that's what you get from Join Up Dots. It's about believing that you can control what's happening to you and not being the recipient of what happens to you. You're the one that can direct the traffic. You're the one that control the tides. You're the person that can stand there and say enough is enough and make life what you want it to be. So I went to a brothel. It wasn't quite a brothel. I nearly got a hand job for nothing. Well, it didn't cost me nothing. It cost me 390 quid for a few sessions of that. And I learned more about myself than I possibly have done over the last few years. So it was a blessing, and I'm glad to be back. And I'm so passionate and focused about bringing you more episodes of Join Up Dots to really foster that personal belief and really get things going and change the tide for somebody out there who's listening and thinks, yes, actually, I am the controller of my own life. I'm going to make a difference. Until next time, my friends, you look after yourselves, you stay sexy, and I'll see you again. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the only life you've got. We'll be back again real soon. Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots. Join Up Dots.